Boom. What's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to Waves Capital. We first discussed Applied Digital, or APLD, here on the channel in June of 2023. If you want a full rundown of what the company does and some of the attributes that made me bullish on this company in the first place, then go check this out and then come back here and watch this. But in this video, we are going to focus on this very bullish piece of news that Applied Digital just released that catalyzed a 25% rally in the stock. We got a little pullback, but overall, this looks incredibly bullish to me. I just established a pretty meaningful call options position on this stock. Members of Waves Capital would know, but super excited. I want to go over this piece of news, let you guys know what's going on here and this major investment that was just made into the company. And then we'll dive into trading view, talk some technicals, and I'll let you guys know where I think this stock can go over the next couple of weeks, because if I'm right about this, obviously that's a major caveat in pretty much any technical or fundamental analyses. If I'm right, if Applied Digital can do what I think it can do, if we do get some of those hype cycle attributes or that wave 2 cycle that we know and love here at Waves Cap, then I think some very exciting things could happen very quickly. So we'll touch on that when we dive into the charts. All right. If you guys go on to gain value from this video, please give it a like in the comments down. Please give it a like. Let me know in the comments downstairs. There we go. What you guys think about Applied Digital. Is this the first time you're hearing about this stock? Did you watch this first video? We posted on this well over a year ago. Are you invested? Are you excited? Or if not, let me know why. Okay. So Applied Digital stock jumps on Macquarie investment. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'll just call it MAC from here on. Okay, so Applied Digital, or APLD, has announced a $5 billion investment from MAC that will support over 2 gigawatts of high-performance computing data center development. The investment will come in the form of preferred equity. Earlier today, APLD shares rallied 25% after the Wall Street Journal reported that MAC will invest up to $5 billion in data centers being built by the artificial intelligence infrastructure company. MAC's asset management firm, ARM, has agreed to invest up to $900 million in the company's 400 megawatt Ellendale, North Dakota HPC data center campus. The agreement provides MAC Asset Management the right to invest up to an additional $4.1 billion across Applied Digital future HPC data center pipeline. MAC also will get a 15% stake in Applied Digital's high-performance computing business as a part of the deal, the report added. Okay, so if you guys aren't familiar, I can't say that I was familiar with this asset manager prior to this deal being announced, but I give it a good look up. They are one of Australia's largest investment firms. And, if you're dropping anything in the multi Bs, that's a big deal, especially for Applied Digital, which is a company. What's Applied Digital's market cap right now? Like 1.8 billion. Okay. So this is a crazy deal with some crazy promises, but, in the grand scheme of things, to me, $5 billion is a life-changing amount of capital regardless of who has $5 billion. The rich people in the world, 5B is a life-changing amount of money, regardless. But when you're talking about the public equity markets and when you're talking about especially a space as exciting and as growing as Applied Digital and just, like cloud, like AI infrastructure, cloud, you name the buzzword that you want to use in this growth sector. Applied Digital checks a lot of these boxes. So when you're talking about, again, a company with a market cap of $1.8 billion, a potential investment of up to $5 billion over time. And again, that's the top end. But regardless, this is a very exciting piece of news. When it comes to market caps, you guys know, obviously, if you've been following for a while, and if you've been trading with us and the stocks that I prefer to play in my personal portfolio, first link in the description to sign up for that if you guys want more on that later. But with this market cap, this $1 to $2 billion market cap, pretty much anything under 5 max, what I'm trying to say, a $1 to $2 billion market cap, at least in my opinion, is incredibly attractive when it comes to that potential hype cycle and really the scale of a hype cycle. Okay, you could say there's stocks like Veritone, some other plays that are in the hundreds of millions, real micro cap stocks that are exciting. But when it comes to this $1 to $2 billion range, this is the realm where they're large enough for funds and institutions to get involved and, really get some institutional excitement into a potential hype cycle. Underline the word potential here. But they're small enough to where it really does not take much capital inflow at all to appreciate the share price of the stock, right? Just this is very common knowledge, but supply and demand economics 101. If $1 billion of capital, just even retail capital, is invested to a company with a market cap of $1.8 billion, that share price is going to raise a whole lot more than $1 billion invested into a company worth, 10, 20, 30, etc. $1 billion. Okay. That's obvious, but that's why I like these plays. And that's why these things have the potential to go so far, so fast. Okay. So Applied Digital, you can see here, Applied Digital, even without using some of these historical markers of what's happened in the past when we get some good news. I'll get to those right after I cover just kind of the basics and the fundamentals here. So from a very general perspective, Applied Digital is holding a very, very clean, nice, organic ascending channel pattern. This has been in play. First touch point here that I have, at least on my chart, being July of 2024. Okay. This line creating the top line of resistance here. You can see multiple touch points. I have this. This is fairly conservative in my opinion. If you watch one of my recent the trader tips videos about absolute and conservative resistance, link to, to join. If you want to become a member, get those trader tips, technical tutorials. That's the join button right below this video if you're interested in that. But in that video, I talked about absolute and conservative resistance. This is pretty tight. I would actually say this is conservative resistance using multiple touch points. No candle wicks involved. Those are all closures right there. As you can see where my cursor is hovering. This is absolute. Okay, so traders are going to be looking at this. There's at least 2 touch points here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does come into play. But personally, when it comes to where I'll look to take profits in on my call options and on my positions, always use those conservative trend lines. Okay, so always remember that, you guys. I'm also taking a look at this. This is a shorter term trend line. This is this is kind of what I would say is the real ascending channel that's currently in play. And in all reality, this is the line that I would personally use to take profits. So if we do manage to get, that second wave, if we do manage to see a hype cycle after hours price action looking good, you'd love to see that. We do have a CPI report tomorrow. Could throw a wrench in this potentially. But if I'm being completely honest, even if the greater markets fall, Apple and NVDA fell today, some of our gems in the portfolio looking amazing. Applied Digital, Riot, Unity, all climbing while the mega caps fell. That's exactly what I want to see, right? And there's always a bull market somewhere. There's always going to be diamonds in the rough, and there's always going to be positions that are going to perform, even if the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are performing poorly. And that's exactly what I think Applied Digital or APLD could do, even if, again, we get a bunk CPI report tomorrow. Maybe we get a hot CPI report that would just further fuel this fire. Okay, so this is, especially with this pullback, which is when we established our calls over Waves Cap. And again, if you guys read the trade alert this morning, you know that we sniped those at the perfect time. So before we get into the charts more and talk about some of these other price targets, I will just shout this out now. If you do want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis and get these daily trade alerts, all right, this is a trade alert. Write this every morning as soon as I can after I make my trades. After this, I write a trade analysis newsletter. Don't want to zoom out too far there to show the portfolio. But if you guys want this, if you guys want my daily newsletters, if you guys want a full breakdown of my personal portfolio, first link in the description of this video. My complete portfolio, daily trade alerts, email newsletters. I confidently say it is only $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months, completely up to you. But this is what I love. This is what I do. And I'm very thankful, but also very, it feels good that the hard work I've put in over the years is paying off. So it was an amazing 2024, 2025. We're off to a hot start. And, if you want to join the team, if you want to join the winning team, then again, it's the first link in the description. If you do, welcome. We're stoked to have you, but if not, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching this video. Okay, so let's close it out here. If Applied Digital can manage to clear this hurdle right here, again, just keeping it simple, of short-term resistance, which I think is entirely possible. You can see short-term resistance, this yellow line right here, about 12-13% up from current levels. if we tested that in within the next week or so. But to be completely honest, if we get that second wave, as I was just alluding to, I think things are going to happen fast. That's going to make sense as we kind of zoom out here and look at what's happened during previous times of excitement for APLD. And if I'm being completely honest, this piece of news right here is, at least as far as I can remember, or as long as I've been following this stock, this is by far the most objectively bullish piece of news that Applied Digital has ever seen. Again, just my opinion. There could be something else, but this is, I mean, again, if you're talking 5B, potential 5B for a company worth $1.8 billion, that's insane. Okay. So unless this is just completely false and made up, this is super bullish, objectively speaking. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do immediately break above this line of short-term resistance and make our way up to, once again, this top line of support here. If we see this happen by the end of the month, go beside my fat head, January 29th, just end of the month, that would take us up 40% from current levels to about $12. Okay. So $12, wouldn't be surprised if we see that at all by the end of the month, by the month of February. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we climb a lot higher than that, given the bullish, just the weighting of how bullish this news is. Okay. So as you can see here in the past, we climbed, when you're just looking at similar patterns, like a period of sideways price action following a nice move to the upside. Kind of what we're seeing here, like this is a lot stronger of an uptrend than this was back here. And it's holding a lot better, but the same kind of psychological principles are there. At time, just range trading for a little bit. You get the breakout, you get that piece of good news. You can see here from the base here, where we were $4 to a high of $7.20. That is just under 81% in the span of 13 days. Back here, when we really first started discussing Applied Digital again, this video was June of 2023. When we first started discussing that, when excitement first really hit, you can see here Applied Digital rallied from $3 all the way up to over $10 in the span of 12 days. So the common theme here you can look at, and this applies to a lot of hype cycles, and I've said this many times before, when you talk in hype cycles, when things get that parabolic rally, and you can look at Palantir, you can look at some other names that we've recently been covering, it typically lasts 10 to 14 days. Okay, in my experience, it rarely lasts it almost never lasts more than 3 weeks. That first wave is before a meaningful correction. I'm talking like it could rally much higher over the months ahead, but when you're talking about that first parabolic wave, that true first wave or second wave, if you're seeing it, that lasts about 10 to 14 days. It's very rare for something to go beyond 2 weeks just with straight green candles. So just keep that in mind, you guys. 10 days on the conservative side, 14 days on the greedy side. So, you know where we lean. You always try to not get greedy. But just say we were to see, this conservative one. Okay, over here, this was a rally of 250% in 12 days. Okay, so that's possible. Let's just for fun, we'll look at what a 250% rally would look like in APLD from the base here where we just started taking off. If we rally, really gotta scroll up, or really gotta use that cursor or scroll wheel. There we go. If we rally 250%, that would take us up above $25. That is way too optimistic for me. Again, this is good news, but that's pretty. I can't with any form of confidence say that I think this is likely. I would hope this happens. It would be great. I'd be in a very good shape in the portfolio if we did. A lot of steak and sushi, but just to play not conservatively, but playing the optimistic scenario here that I think is entirely possible. Say we rally, again, 80% in the span of 14 days. Okay, so both, like playing it pretty conservative here, both. So that would mean by the end of the month, by January 27th, that would take us up to, from, again, the base of the rally, 80% would take us up to about 1350. Okay, so if we do see 1350, that's where I would take my first very meaningful chunk of profits on the call options position. Okay. Again, hoping for the best, but it's always possible that APL just tanks tomorrow if we get a hot CPI report. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this. Again, if you want to ride with us in the portfolio group, if you want to ride the waves through January, February, the rest of 2025, it's the first link in the description of the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this stock and if you guys are excited about the future of it. If not, let me know what you are excited about. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.